News tonight as that college basketball corruption trial continues in New York. Both Clemson's athletic program and Spartanburg's Zion Williamson were included in the testimony today.
This afternoon, the court heard wiretaps of Clemson assistant basketball coach Steve Smith, who was the Tigers' lead recruiter in the program's pursuit of Williamson, disclosing what appear to be inside practices that could go beyond the basketball program at Clemson into other sports. Let's get to 7 Sports Director Pete Yannity with more.
Gordon, pretty complicated, broad-ranging aspects of this story, but testimony revealed in court today in the trial of Greenville native and former Clemson guard Merle Coe Jr., a former Adidas representative, and prominent figure in the government's case, as well as a former sports agent representative, Christian Dawkins. Well, the subject of today's testimony related to Clemson assistant coach Steve Smith, who's heard in a July 2017 wiretap, actually seen in a video recording in which Smith and Dawkins are heard discussing what it would take to get Williamson to attend Clemson. Well, what Smith is heard saying in the wiretap also reaches beyond Clemson basketball. According to CBSSports.com's Matt Nordlander, covering the trial in New York, Smith alludes to how he would handle the business of working out a deal to land Williamson relative to the operation of Clemson's football program. And Nordlander reports other testimony from the trial via Twitter, seen here. We also have some of it at WSPA.com. But the very fact that a basketball assistant coach Smith would also mention something about Clemson's football program, while it's very vague what he was saying in that recorded conversation in what was a Las Vegas hotel room, it's very vague what he meant in that comment we showed you relative to Clemson football program. It certainly does raise eyebrows that in a basketball corruption trial that the football program at Clemson would be mentioned. Now, a couple of things of note. TigerIllustrated.com reporting that Clemson head coach Brad Brownell was surprised when learning of the testimony that was in court today relating to his program. And Clemson's athletic department this afternoon released a statement saying, "We are aware of the developments in federal court today involving one of our basketball assistant coaches on the men's side. We take this matter seriously and will immediately conduct a review." And coincidental timing, tonight was Clemson's season-ending basketball banquet.
So they're doing a review. But what does this mean? What's the big picture here? NCAA, other investigations?
In terms of that, and the NCAA has commented in the past that what comes out of this basketball corruption trial is something that they would take into account, and they'd be monitoring developments. Who knows what it means for Clemson's program from the NCAA side looking in, but a review internally, obviously, it's pretty obvious Steve Smith probably is in peril right now moving forward with the program, just what you can deduce looking at all of this.
It's a lot to break down. As you said, there's more information at WSPA.com. We'll see you later in Sports, Pete. Thank you.
Well, the new developments have traveled quickly through campus. 7 News reporter Ann Maxwell has been speaking with students in Clemson today. She's joining us live from the SO Club, where folks are gathered there to watch the NFL draft. So, Ann, what are students saying? How are they reacting?
Amy, Gordon, I've heard mixed reactions. Some people say they need more information before making a judgment. Others told me they're not surprised, and a lot of people said they feel like this kind of thing runs rampant in college sports. It's the pride of Clemson, a football program that's won 2 national championships in the past several years.
Go Tigers.
The fact that a wiretap video involving an assistant basketball coach is being used as evidence in a federal corruption case has some questioning the integrity of the sports programs.
Not really any surprise. I feel like it happens at a lot of schools.
I feel like this happens like everywhere, but it's kind of like pushed under the rug so you don't hear about it too much, or the people that aren't as smart about it kind of get caught up with it.
Some feel that the problem of paying student athletes under the table is the result of a broken system.
I think that they should allow players to get paid, honestly. I think that would clear up a lot of this.
But Tiger loyalty runs deep.
We don't really want to say that it's true or not when we don't have all of the evidence.
The facts will come to light soon. In a statement, the university said it would immediately conduct a review.
I just kind of want to see how it plays out before I make any rash statements.
Despite the allegations and the questions they raise, most students we spoke with said they're still all in. And that Clemson pride is on display here at the SO Club in Clemson, where people are gathered to watch the NFL draft. Reporting live in Clemson, Ann Maxwell, 7 News.